What's up, YouTube? It's Jay, Challenge Questionable Behavior. And, everybody seems to like the Philadelphia mentality video with Will Smith. So, what I thought was that I would give a little more mentality about Philadelphia and some of the life experiences that went down in Philadelphia. So, specifically, when it comes to the Will Smith smack and why I relate to it so much is because of what our childhoods were probably like. I would imagine that they were fairly similar. And basically, let me just jump to the good part. So, when I was about 13, 12 or 13 years old, my mom and I moved to a new neighborhood. And when we moved to this new neighborhood, it was different than where we were coming from. It was somewhat more, closed off where we lived. It was private. Although it was row houses, the driveway, only the kids played there. No other kids came into that driveway. It was that kind of scenario. And when we moved to another neighborhood where it was a little more open, and everybody was kind of in everybody's business. People didn't play in the backyard and in the driveway. And I guess I was becoming a little too old, to be playing in the driveway, so to speak. And it was just a bit different. So now there was a playground that was right on the corner from where we lived. And it was a nice area, don't get me wrong. But the people were different than what I had been dealing with where we lived previously. So the first day, as I recall, I like to play basketball. So I'm coming out of our new house and some guys kind of spotted me, you know what I'm saying, coming out. And as I came down to the street level, they approached me and they're like, yo, you live here? You new here, right? And the first thing they said to me was, and the way they said it was kind of like, I don't know, icky. I just didn't feel it. It was like, yo, you got any sisters? Like, and we all know why they was asking, right? I'm like, nah, I don't have no sisters. And even then I knew why they was asking. And there was one dude out of this bunch. Nothing really went down there. I just went about my business and went and played basketball. But this one dude, his name was Joey. And he just would not leave me alone. All right, he was bullying me. He was like trying to push me around, playing me for soft. And at that time, I guess I was a little soft. And he took my basketball. I had to go home without my ball. He never gave it back. That type of stuff, right? So I'm going to fast forward to the good part. So maybe this went on for about a week, whatever. Every time I came out the house, I'm looking for this fool. Like, damn, am I going to be able to have a good day without this fool bothering me? And I went to the playground not to play basketball this time, but tennis, because I play tennis as well. I play tennis to this very day. And here comes Joey. I'm in the tennis court, and here comes Joey. Well, what he didn't know is that, for a few days I had been practicing holding my hands and defending myself against any nonsense. And he came into the tennis court and proceeded to, try and come up and take my tennis racket or whatever he was trying to do. I don't remember exactly. But it was time. It was time. It was time for me to step up and defend myself. And it was a transitional moment in my life. Seriously, because I beat the brakes off of that fool. I beat him with the tennis racket. I started throwing my hands, knocked him down a few times, and he never bothered me again. Ever. When he saw me, there was respect in his eyes. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson that lives with me into this very day. And it's not necessarily the best lesson because there's consequences for being violent with people in our society. But before this society, violence was how things got settled. And during the society is still how it gets settled. So, that situation kind of molded me in a way because now I understood that in order to get somebody to leave me alone, I could do something to them. And another interesting story. So I played basketball at this playground. And there was this guy named Karate Mike. And, playing basketball gets rough sometimes. And maybe I fouled him, maybe he fouled me. I forget exactly what happened. But, we had an argument during the game. It was pretty early on in the game. He's like, yo, I'm going to whip your butt after this game. And I'm like, whatever, man, whatever. Now, he had a reputation for knowing karate. Now, what he didn't know, and this is well after the situation with Joey, that, I had been practicing, protecting myself. And so the game ended, and I started to walk away. I was trying to avoid the whole situation. I thought we deaded that. And he approached me like, yo, what's up? What's up? I'm like, man, we done played the whole game. You still want to, fight? He's like, yeah, such and such. I'm like, okay. So I was scared. And I didn't want everybody on the court to see me get my ass kicked or him to, kick me in the head with some karate or whatever. I was like worried. So I'm like, all right, well, come over here. And I left the basketball court and went to this kind of like private area in the playground. And we were up there by ourselves. And we squared off on one another. And we came together. And all I remember doing was just, I was just like punching straight ahead. And after punching for a minute, I didn't see him no more. I didn't even feel myself hit him, to be honest with you. And I looked down, and he was on the ground, almost knocked out. And I'm like, wow. And by this time, some of the guys that, saw all the altercation was following to see the fight. And this one guy, his name was Mark. He goes, he's out. It was a highlight in my life. It really was. And, I could tell he was hurt. So, I was just going to leave him alone. And like, fight's over. And he got up and he was dazed, and I could tell he was hurt, and he wanted to keep fighting. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm telling you, leave me alone. All right, just go ahead. It's over. He's like, nah. And he comes at me and he punches. And he was so kind of like punch drunk that I could see everything coming a mile away. So I just kind of backed up. And as he drew his hand back and he was moving all slow, I just came straight in and grabbed him under his legs, picked him up and dropped him on his head. It's a highlight of my life, I'm telling you. I jumped on top of him, punched him a couple more times. I'm like, you done now? And he was like, yeah, that's what I thought. And I got up off him, and nobody bothered me anymore. Nobody. Not because I was a tough guy, because I was not. And I didn't carry myself as a tough guy. But what I did do, and what people knew, is that if you mess with me, I might whip your butt. And it's kind of, I'm sure it's like that in every city, where young men have to step up and protect themselves because you get bullied. People trying to take your money, take your girl, take whatever they can take because they think you weak. And from that point forward, I was no longer weak. And I knew how to protect myself, and I practiced even more. So, yeah, that's a Philly story. I got a few more, but that's all I'm going to give you for right now. My name is Jay. Channel is Questionable Behavior. I'm very curious to see if this video gets a lot of views, because it's about a Philly thing. And I'm going to tell you some things about Philly when I went away to college, and the difference between Philadelphia brothers and brothers from other cities, New York, Cleveland, Delaware, a few different areas. And I'll think about it some more, because it's obviously, I went to school in North Carolina, and there were people from all over the country, the East Coast predominantly, that came to that school. So stay tuned for the next video. It is interesting. Another story about, defining yourself and protecting yourself in this world. My name is Jay. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Say something. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you. Peace.